Boy feeds on internet 861.
This is
7 p.m.
LK,
Cleveland Indians defeat Chicago White Sox. Home
BRUYX
feeds on Sirius 39,
30,
XM 89 and internet 847. Boy feeds on internet
ESPN. If it
845.
sounds like
7 p.m.
penis, it is.
Baltimore Orioles take on the Houston Astros. Home feeds on Sirius 212, XM
Hello,
176 and
chat
internet
mom.
842.
Not the
Boy
chat
feeds on
mom, it's the
internet
chat daddy.
850. Stay tuned for more
Brian
Sirius
K.
XM sports
Lewis,
schedules. The place to
who
talk
chatted with
baseball
the
every
FBI.
day is MLB
All
Network
stars.
Radio. Tune in for
Black
analysis and
Ops.
informed opinions as the race heats up for the postseason.
All right, let's get to our show. This is Pink Shorts. Pink Shorts is filmed in front of a live democracy. Republic, both exposed and approved. Thank you for writing MREL, the new safety video. This is auditory station, auditory nerve, Hesibisk information. Don't misinterpret that. This is Pink Shorts, the use of land, zoning, patenting, and communicating with your patents from Los Alamos via my client's medulla, left leg, my primordial cortex, left leg, my primary visual, left leg, primary auditory, left leg, arcuate fasciculus, left leg, my hippocampus, left leg, my vertical, left leg, my bracha, left leg, angular gyrus, left leg, or any other part of the left or right hemisphere of the brain is an agreement of identical evidence and discretion of all content obtained will be used for Merriweather businesses and the new Or television network. 210, come on! And the new MSN Titanium on our credit resume as well. Contact us at 594-1443. We do. He's in the Senate. Contact Gary Harris, Miss Cleo at 1-800-98 Isabel, ground zero, 86 Mogul, 37 Weather Channel. It's going to rain. Bring your raincoats. Pay your Geico bills at 1-800-932-8872. The rest is my identity. Two-party consent law is required. We are notifying you before we speak with you to record or eavesdrop on any confidential communication, including a private conversation, telephone call, Google Hanging, Google Hangouts, anything that hangs from a tree. This is a noose program. We're hanging it from his leg. Without the consent of all parties to the conversation is a violation of Section Code 632. A red 300 Chrysler and Steve from Nike is giving us a new position. He's allowing us to change the titles and the prices on the shoes. Changing our titles. Why will we be changing our titles? Well, it's because your name is Question. Your name is Johnny Quest. Johnny Question. Business credit. Oh, that explains it. Thank you, Steve, for letting us change the titles on Nike shoes and the Nike store. We love having two separate identities. Statutes of limitations don't apply, and we'll explain that in the next half hour. Intrusion claims in California last for 2 years. Section code 335. That one. This is a news program. Email you have received. Recognize intrusion upon seclusion claims. Reference Howell versus New York Post Code.
Phillies take on the LA Dodgers. Home feeds on Sirius
Today's
215,
ESPN Day.
XM
Hello,
183 and
Sabres.
internet 860. Boy feeds on internet
What does
853.
ESPN mean?
7:30 p.m. Kansas City Royals take on the Minnesota Twins. Home feeds on Sirius
Takunaman,
216.
that's correct. Takumonen. Sounds like common law forgery. Sounds like come on. Then you've got it. Intrusion claims is a special form of invasion of privacy. It applies when you intentionally intrude physically, solitude, cadets, like the saber said, or seclusion of another, in moist states of transmission and intrusion. On seclusion claim, a plaintiff must generally establish 4 elements. Due to time constraints, we are expediting our intro. I'm very excited to do today's show. I'm wearing savvy from head to toe. I did everything you wanted me to do. Audio experience 11 song, motivational speaker, richest man in America, universe, world, galaxy. Save me some of that peach cobbler. I saved all your files. Remember to paint the short way. Highest paid singer in the world. Tweet us via early or late at FRES_JORDANZ. I wish I could do the ceremony. Every 20 minutes of the hour, tweet us on social media. Remember 311 all to speed your screening process of your new presidential candidate on your new iPhone 7S and 7S Plus. Available September 16th. Also remember, all liquids must be allotted a 3-ounce container. American, and United Virgin Airways. We are intercepting wire, oral, and electronic communication prohibited. The new prohibition. It's in his leg. Please understand the other USC codes, penal codes. It's your call numbers backwards. It's sad, isn't it? MerriweatherA.Law is America's first thing in attorney. We made the law soundtrack sound wonderful, the way it should have been, besides everything. Sponsored by QRM Agency and the Old Broadcast Network, social media. I love the song. Close the doors. Seatbelts. The music will sink into the sound system. 67 degrees. We're in a 2017 luxury for me to you. You can roll your windows up. You can roll your windows down. Verbatim software. You can write with us to get the finer things in life. Again, we'll be watching the video we've been watching for the past 10 days, I believe, right? That's right, 93.7, Sabres. And the atrium. You're not too far from the atrium. And Katrina. That's correct. All right, let's watch our videos. Oh, yep, it's going to be the same video verbatim. Our interview with Apple CEO is soon. We don't know what day that is. You just have to wait and see when that show is on air. Hello, Sabres. How are you?
Stallion was the North American 3-year-old champion.
Today is the 18th, ESPN HD1.
His win at
Please wear your Manhattan chases. Want to say hello to our chat mom, SB. It's the father who's Brian K. Lewis. Today's show is Adobe Willustrator Pre, the resume myself, someone else. We last saw him making a left turn from Kenmore to Delaware, the credit card regulation state.
His career, the Queen's Plate, the first leg.
That's right, Byron Brown is from Queens, New York, and our magnet program of all black stars. All the stars are black. The mayor, the governor, the press, all star black cast. Eric Holder.
To demand $1 million stud fee in the world.
That's correct. Today's show is MerriweatherA.Law. Soundtruck Zoning. V-Mary02, V-Mary, V-Siri, V-Alley, CDMA, GSM, Supervisor Ethan. Ethnicities must separate.
By horses that were connected to him in some.
Today's show is email and titled via HSBC CBIS iPhone 1048 refund. Mistakes in programming. Differences. They're only talking about bankruptcy.
For Sirius XM Sports, I'm Ryan.
Well, let's get to the president here. Verbatim software. Good morning, Mr. President. It's Pink Shorts.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just met again with my National Security Council on the campaign to destroy.
Verbatim software in process.
Secretary Carter. Dunford, who just returned from coalition partners. In the Middle East. And for their continued leadership.
And for their continued oil support. Thank you.
I last updated on our campaign in June.
Shortly after we fell.
In the week since, we've continued to be relentless.
We reviewed California insurance law, and we can sue drivers.
Iraq, ISIL continues to lose territory. Tragically, however, we've also seen that ISIL still has the ability to direct and inspire attacks. So we've seen terrible bombings in Iraq,
duty of care,
Jordan, in Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Afghanistan.
Vigilance, caution, prudence.
Istanbul Airport.
Someone whose actions breach the duty of care is considered negligent and may be sued for resulting damages. In fact, the decline of ISIL in Syria and Iraq is to be causing accidents with our brakes that we can sue you personally. I'm sure you can afford the cases that will win.
As always,
we're speaking with the president, the highest cop in the world. Professionals are working around the clock with other countries, easy at home,
and prevent such attacks.
And
over the years, they've prevented many.
Many.
But as we've seen,
duress,
still very difficult
the
to
use of
detect
force,
and
false
prevent
imprisonment,
actors or small
coercion,
cells of
threats,
terrorists who are determined
physical,
to kill the innocent
psychological
and are willing to
pressure
die.
to compel
That's
to
why, as
die.
we discussed today, we're going
We
to keep
discussed
going
today
after ISIL
people
aggressively,
progressively
of this campaign.
of this campaign.
Our
Our air campaign and withholding the lungs,
more than
more than
14,000
so far.
100,000
soldiers
hitting
hitting
the ISIL core
and
and in Mosul.
in Mosul.
And in stark contrast,
In a stark contrast,
which uses
ISIL,
civilians as human shields,
human
America's
shields
armed forces will
to
continue
protect
to do
the
everything in our power to
co-conspirators
avoid
of the White House.
civilian
We use
casualties.
civilian casualties
With our extraordinary
with our
technology, we're
extraordinary
conducting the most
Walmart gift
precise air
cards
campaign in history.
in history.
After all, it is the innocent
After all, it is
civilians of
duress, the
Syria
use of
and
force,
Iraq
false
who are
imprisonment,
suffering
coercion,
the most.
threats, and psychological
And
pressure to compel someone
to be saved
to
from
act
ISIL's
contrary
terror.
and
So
trap
when there are
to his or her
allegations of
wishes or
civilian
interests.
casualties, we take them very seriously.
We take
We
duress
work to find the
seriously.
facts, to be transparent, and to hold
Transparent,
ourselves accountable for
hold
doing better
ourselves
in the future.
accountable.
We continue to take
We
out
continue
senior ISIL leaders and commanders.
leaders and
This
commanders.
includes ISIL's deputy minister of war.
We have a diligence, responsible care, or attention to a matter. Due diligence.
And in yet another significant loss for
Another
ISIL, its
significant
minister
loss.
of war, Umar al-Shishani.
Shishadim.
None of
None
ISIL's
of
leaders are
ISIL's
safe,
leaders.
and we're going to keep going after them.
We're going to keep going after
On the
them.
ground in Iraq, local forces keep pushing ISIL back.
Push ISIL back
Major success.
on Mondays.
Iraqi forces
Today's the
with
1/8/18.
coalition support finally liberated
Push them
Fallujah.
again.
Now they're clearing ISIL fighters
Now
from
they're in
more areas
trouble.
up the Euphrates Valley,
Perjury.
and Iraqi forces retook
This is
the strategic
verbatim
air base
software.
at Qayyara,
It's
just
only
40
about
miles
me.
from Mosul.
You're
Now
like the
last
judge.
major ISIL
He's the
stronghold
judge
in Iraq.
in Iraq.
Given the success,
Given this
the
judge,
additional 560
verbatim,
US support personnel that I ordered to Iraq
I ordered to
last
Iraq
month will help turn this base into a
turn
logistical
this
hub
base
and launch
into a
pad for
legal
Iraqi forces
platform
as they
of the
push
Supreme
into
Court.
Mosul. Meanwhile, in Syria, a
Meanwhile, in
coalition of
Syria,
local
a
forces
coalition,
backed by our special operations forces and airstrikes continues to
durable
take the
power of
fight to ISIL
attorney,
as well.
a power of
Coalition is
attorney that
fighting its
remains in
way
effect if
into
the
the
person
town
who
of
made the
Manbij,
document,
a gateway
called the
for ISIL
principal,
fighters coming
becomes
in and
incapacitated,
terrorists heading out to attack Europe, which is why ISIL is fighting hard to hold.
ISIL is fighting
As ISIL is beaten
pedestrians.
back, we're gaining vast amounts of intelligence.
Vast amounts of
documents,
intelligence,
thumb drives, digital files,
thumb drives,
which we will
digital
use
files
to keep destroying
that we will
ISIL's
use to
networks
keep.
and stop
We have a
foreign
right
fighters.
hand shock
We also continue to
from the judge of the White House.
Al Qaeda in Syria, which no matter
Will White
what
House
name it calls itself, cannot be allowed to maintain a
cannot
safe
be
haven
allowed
to train
a
and plot
safe haven to
attacks
train
against us.
against us.
I do want to step
I
back and
do
note
want to
the broader
repeat everything
progress
he
that has
says
been made in this campaign
because
so far.
Wu doesn't have
2 years
conversations
ago,
on
ISIL was racing
YouTube.
across Iraq to the outskirts
To
of
the
Baghdad
outskirts
itself, and to many
itself,
observers, ISIL looked invincible.
ISIL looked
Since then, in
invincible.
Iraq, ISIL has
Since
lost
then, we've been repeating everything he says
Manjib Dam,
on our
at
MerriweatherA.Law site.
at Beji,
It's no
at
secret.
Sinjar, at Ramadi,
It's IDRC.
at Ruba, and now
It's our
Fallujah.
secret. RC.
In Syria, ISIL's lost
RC
Kobani
Cola.
and Tel Abyad,
It's our
and
secret.
Tishrin Dam and al-Shaddadi.
Al Shaddadi.
ISIL has lost territory across vast stretches of the border.
Bad
with Turkey
stretches.
and
Bad
almost
pro.
all
We talked to the
major transit
Sabres.
routes into Raqqa.
Into
And in
Raqqa.
both Iraq and Syria,
Both the judges
ISIL has not been
here
able
on
to reclaim
YouTube.
any significant
Any
territory
significant
they have
terrorist.
lost. So I want to repeat.
So I want to
ISIL has
repeat
not had a
everything he
major,
says.
Successful
Successful
operation in either
legal career
Syria or Iraq
on
in a full
YouTube.
year.
Thank you.
Even ISIL's leaders
ISIL's
know they're going
leaders.
to keep losing.
Al Shaddadi.
Their message to followers, they're
El
increasingly acknowledging
Shaddadi.
that they may lose
They may
Mosul and
loose
Raqqa.
it, open
ISIL
it,
is right. They will lose them.
and enter
We'll keep
fluids.
hitting them and pushing them back and driving them
Pushing
out
them
into
back, we'll use our RC Cola.
In other words, ISIL
IDRC, its friend.
They're
RC
in fact
Cola will clear it up.
inevitably going to be defeated.
It'll
But we do
post-expose
recognize at the same time
prophylaxis.
that the situation
The time the situation.
is complex.
It's
This
complex
cannot be solved
sciences.
by military
You know, we're
force
hanging him with
alone.
his leg.
That's why last month
That's
the
why
United States
YouTube
and
changed it
countries
from
around the world
Hangouts,
pledged more than
Hangins,
$2 billion
YouTube
in
Live.
funds
You'll get that
to
on
help
September
Iraqis
12th.
stabilize and rebuild their communities.
Stabilize and rebuild.
That's why we're working with
It's why
Iraq
we're
so that
Alphabet, because I
military
can
campaign to
change the
liberate
name from
Mosul
Google
is matched with humanitarian
to afford
and political
tourists
efforts to protect protect civilians and promote
civilians,
inclusive governance.
So I commend YouTube for a head start on Google Hangouts, the YouTube Live. Syria, like you said, defeated ISIL. Al-Shaddadi defeated ISIL. Al-Shaddadi. The regime, as the allies continue, doing business as is a situation where a business owner operates a company under a different name from its legal name. It is my name. I'm named after my student, Jade Hessen, Mowgli Galogli.
The U.S. remains prepared to work with Russia and strengthen our
efforts in Al-Qaeda in Syria. So far, the necessary steps.
Given the deteriorating situation, it is
time, Warner,
serious
pursuing these objectives.
Beyond Syria and Iraq,
allies
and partners to go after ISIL wherever it tries to spread.
A request of Libya's government.
We are conducting strikes in support.
As they fight
to retake CERT from ISIL, and we will continue to support the government's efforts to secure. In Afghanistan, one of the reasons that I decided to
distress the seizure of another's property in order to obtain payment for money owed.
And we delivered another blow last
We're volunteering.
Took out a top ISIL leader in Afghanistan, Umar Khalifa.
Finally,
it should be clear by now.
No one
knows this better than our military.
No one knows this better than me.
Even as we need to crush
as we need all
their military defeat,
volunteer work.
So long as
we can't spend it, what's the point of making it?
In groups like ISIS,
merging, the international community will continue to be at risk of the public's health. Whack-a-mole with a Zika. And quoting Ariana Grande lyrics, violent extremism using the hands and wrists is our goal to show the public that our hands were risking public health. Nothing will hit anyone. We'll call the police. It'll be like Rodney King loses its base in Iraq and Mosul. We're going to keep calling the police, especially
to expose ISIL for what they are.
They are murderers who do heinous crimes.
Children as they break the Ramadan fast and bombs in Medina near the Prophet's Mosque, one of the holiest sites in Islam.
He's reading an essay.
Moreover, we refuse to let
the same essay.
And voices of division undermine the unity and the values.
Today's show is sponsored by Gilead Pharmaceuticals.
Keep our nation strong.
We're following our leader.
The
reasons that we're doing that is because I'm not a physician. I can only settle for the disease that I was given. A chimp. The variants, I've never had the variants. Never had it.
This past Sunday, when Muslims across France joined their Catholic
de facto, in fact, a recognition of authority, even when legal or formal requirements have not been met. Retroactive. Duress.
Peace be with you, and also with you.
Ex post facto.
Before I take some questions, I also want to say a few words on
another topic.
As our
Republican,
for some time, we are now
seeing the first transmitted cases of a Zika virus of mosquitoes in the United States.
This was predicted and predictable.
So
far, we've seen 15 cases
and preventable.
We're taking this
with access to medical care.
Our CDC experts are on the ground.
Named after two of my friends, Tommy Martinelli and Erica Reed.
Underway to control mosquitoes there, and pregnant
and SB from chat.
Stay away from the particular neighborhood
ESPN
that we're focused on. We'll keep working as
we'll keep giving clues on when the father's going with our employee-sponsored insurance,
I do want to be very clear.
MetLife, baseball, and the World Series iPhone 7 in store September 16th. Or in Puerto Rico, your new Apple Watch goes on your wrist. Early warning services and check systems. Thank you, Buffalo Sabres, for the opening intro. Zika cases.
Even though the symptoms for most people are mild,
Most people are mild.
They never even know that they have it.
They don't know that they have it. This bar, the removal of an attorney's license to practice law. This penalty is usually invoked by the State Bar Association, where the attorney is licensed to practice and will prohibit the attorney from practicing law before the courts in that state or a given advice for a free fee to clients. Crises. A lot of money. New vaccines. And by the way, a public health law and welfare.
That costs money.
Our Wells Fargo. That's why our account has been changed.
For more funding back in February.
That's why we're stopping the bus. We're going to bump his head.
Republican-led Congress.
He's going to fall asleep. Make sure you put your coat in your bag. Cut it.
They left for summer recess.
New
funds for the fight against Zika.
New funds against.
Meanwhile, our experts at the NIH and CDC,
our CDC,
the folks on the front lines,
have been doing their best
funds from other areas. But now the money.
But now we discussed that with the judge of the White House.
The situation
a situation has been avoided.
For instance,
funding, or the 105, the 14, the 212, OVO could be delayed. So this is not the time to pre-plan. 40 U.S. buses, Zika buses, and 50 routes that pass CBS. 1,800 connected to travel, and that includes 500 pregnant women. And Zika is not present, and we've avoided that collision.
And there will certainly be more
because the president is the judge.
Meanwhile, Congress is
of the
on
world.
Summer recess. A lot of folks
repeat him, but only I have the exclusive. Especially babies. We have a babysitting job. We babysit. I have a babysit job. It's Zika. We just got babysitter. I'm a babysitter.
I'm going to start.
Causes of this department include a felony including moral turpitude, forgery, fraud, a history of dishonesty, consistent lack of attention to clients, alcoholism, we won't drink, or drug abuse, we won't smoke, which affect the attorney's ability to practice, theft of funds, or any pattern of violation of the professional code of ethics.
Are you satisfied that the United States and its allies?
Hello, hello, how are you?
Given your comments this week about Donald Trump's
we just read this bar. Forgery, common law forgery.
Security briefings about ISIS.
We called.
Sensitive national security issues.
Today's show sponsored by Galil Pharmaceuticals. We're leading, following the leader.
With our response.
With our response, we just pre-planned our client's day. He's going to be riding Metro. So we just stopped fast. With our Under Armour railings to look at what can be done.
It is absolutely to
defeat ISIL, Iraq and Syria. It is on the Metro. He didn't sleep really good this night. There wasn't enough hours to sleep. They can stop to suggest there's still caliphate being born.
That can insinuate itself.
But folks
may be
willing to travel
terrorist attacks.
It's also stabilizing
at a time when the region's already
at a time when the boy hasn't had enough sleep. So, after the itis of eating of the 14, 207, free Mosul, 217, what we have shown is comes to conventional fights, beaten
partners on the ground,
with partners on the bus to support
from coalition forces. In the meantime,
billboards,
you're seeing ISIL external
a probation department on Crenshaw and Expo.
They've adapted.
We planned his day with the president,
much more centralized
operation on Metro with Charles Schaefer.
And what ISIL has figured out is that if they can
Karen, hello,
convince a handful of people,
We're in cars.
An attack on a subway.
On a parade.
Some other public
venue.
And kill scores of people.
On Hollywood. They're just everywhere. Still creates
the kinds of fear and concern.
The kind of fear the president has pre-planned.
Elevates their profile.
Our clients stay here in California, Los Angeles.
In some ways,
rooting out for
smaller, less
complicated
is tougher because
there's no liquor or Santa Claus.
But it does mean that
even more.
Generate the intelligence.
Causes of this environment include a felony including moral turpitude, forgery, fraud, or history of dishonesty, lack of attention to clients, alcoholism, or drug abuse, which affect the attorney's ability to practice, theft of funds, or pattern of violation of the professional code of ethics.
ISIL is defeated.
In Mosul.
But what we've learned
from our Ronald Brown
is that
our intelligence
and we adapt as well.
We came from Occidental.
We will these networks also.
This is part of planning this day with the judge of the White House. Keep our eye on the prize.
Not panic.
Oh Lord, keep your eyes on the prize because we won't rent terrorism. ISIL can't defeat the United States of America or our NATO partners.
We can defeat ourselves, though.
We can defeat ourselves. We can talk to them all day and say, "Hey, we're one-sided news." As these attacks are, that we are trying to save antitrust and preventing them from being millionaires. Give them extra more than their minimum wage. Give them $10.50 to disrupt their ability to be self-sufficient. We have an early warning service.
We will win.
We will win.
But
yes, the president is an attorney.
If we start
making bad decisions or any other area lyrics, for example,
instituting
offensive
religious tests on who can enter the country.
We want him to use his hands because they're close to his wrist and the risk of HIV and Zika. Because in order for us to ultimately fight, we cannot Mike Barney Nissan or Sweet Home. The West.
That plays exactly into the hands of.
It plays exactly into the risk of saving trillions of dollars in bankruptcy. Today's show is sponsored by Khalid Pharmaceuticals. Use your hands; it's close to your wrist.
We are
going to provoke by, which is that we can't break properly or use our gas pedals. Republican nominee for president. We've just planned our day with the president. He doesn't know that. If they were to win, they are not starting from tort law, which they can be sued.
I'm not going to go into details.
I'm not going to go into details. It's how you use your device.
Both candidates receive. That they have been told.
It's you're on your own.
If they want to be president.
Start
acting like president.
But it's not acting like a president.
Being able to receive these briefings.
Receive the president.
Not spread them around. Well, I think I've said.
I think I've been here before.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Causes of this environment include felony including moral turpitude, forgery, fraud, a history of dishonesty, consistent lack of attention to clients, alcoholism, or drug abuse which affect the attorney's ability to practice, theft of funds, or any pattern of violation of the professional code of ethics.
It's been interesting to watch this story surface. Some of you may recall. We announced these payments
in January.
Many months ago.
Josh.
There wasn't a secret. We announced them.
We announced them. Josh did a
briefing on them.
them.
This wasn't some
nefarious deal.
nefarious deal.
And
at the time, we explained that Iran had pressed a claim before an international tribunal about them recovering money of theirs that we that as a consequence of its working its way through.
That is on a discharge in June.
It was the assessment of our lawyers.
Black Music Month.
At a point where there was significant litigation risk, and we could end up costing ourselves.
Disclaimer: a contractual provision in which one party renounces or refuses a right or a responsibility. A formal statement by a patent or trademark owner, Pink Shorts, that it does not claim certain intellectual property rights. An irrevocable refusal to accept property that has been left by will, trust, or any method, sometimes used in estate planning, to reduce overall taxes paid.
Ransom for hostages.
Ransom for hostages.
We've got a number of Americans being held all around the world.
All around the world.
And I meet with their families.
And
it is heartbreaking.
And it's heartbreaking.
And we have stood up an
entire with the lead pharmaceuticals.
Interagency experts.
And we're fading it away.
Working with these families.
To
get these Americans out.
To get these Americans out.
Of high-speed internet. That we have a policy that we don't pay ransom.
They know that we have a policy that we created.
That we would somehow
we're in moist states.
In this high-profile way and announce it to the world. Even as we're looking into the faces of other hostage families whose loved ones are being held hostage,
in moist states,
and say to them that we don't pay ransom.
When can we go to the bathroom?
Defies logic. So that's point number 2. We do not pay ransom. We don't here, and we don't.
In moist states.
We won't in the future. Precisely because if we did, then we would start encouraging Americans to be targeted. Much in the same way that some countries that do pay ransom. End up having a lot more.
Taken by various groups.
Point number 3.
Point number defamation is a false statement that harms a person's reputation.
The timing of this.
It is libel if spoken. It is slander. Most states have a retraction statute under which a defamed person who fails to seek a retraction from the publisher or seeks to obtain a retraction is limited to compensation equal to the actual damages. Public figures, including office holders and candidates, can only prevail in defamation lawsuits if they can show that defamation was made with the knowledge that it was false or with reckless disregard for the truth.
At the same time,
libel per se.
And it was important for us to
talk to him verbatimly.
Litigation risk that had been raised.
He's the highest judge in the world.
Make sure that we finished.
He's from Harvard.
The Iran nuclear.
Harvard runs the world.
Since we were in a conversation with him, it was important for us to push them home.
Excuse me. Push us.
And let me make a final point.
About repeating.
It's now been well over a year since
we've done so many shows.
Agreement with Iran to
stop
its nuclear program was signed. And by all accounts,
our Steve Jobs interview is soon. Verbatim with Steve Jobs.
You'll recall that
computers.
Horror stories about how Iran was going to cheat,
Ben-Hur
wasn't going to work, and Iran was going to get $150 billion to finance terrorism.
That's all that happened.
These kinds of scenarios.
Didn't work.
And none of them have come to pass.
We just called the police.
And it's not just the assessment of
Rodney King.
Our intelligence.
It's pushing people.
Community. It's the assessment of the Israeli military and intelligence community. The country that was most opposed to this deal that acknowledges this has been a game changer.
Promotional CDs.
Iran has abided by the deal, and that they no longer have.
Get
short-term breakout capacity
a president at Rite Aid at Lafayette Square.
So
Spherion
what I'm interested in is
doesn't control the rain or the weather. Why can't we swim?
Not have some of these folks who were predicting disasters say, this thing actually worked.
We can't swim.
That would be a
shock. That would be Katrina.
That would be impressive.
That would be Lafayette Square.
If some of these folks who had said the sky is falling suddenly said,
deport them, get rid of them, send them to Gilead heaven.
Glad that Iran
Delete heaven. Bye.
The capacity to break out in short term and develop a nuclear weapon.
Delete heaven.
But of course, that wasn't going to happen.
But of course, that's what was going to happen.
What we have is
instead we had to settle with too many of us.
Manufacturing
a story disclosed. And the only Harvard Law degree that we have is the man who's talking to me. Which is why I love repeating you. The reason that we had to give them cash is food stamps. We're so strict as maintaining our laundry practices. We don't have a banking relationship with Citi.
We couldn't send them a check.
We couldn't send them a check.
And we could not wire the money.
We could not wire the money to a food stamp card.
And it is not at all clear to me
why it is that
cash, as
cash and food stamps,
or a wire transfer,
Dr. Cashin
has made this into a news story. Maybe because it kind of feels
it feels like
spy novel or
a spy novel. A boy with spy technology
novel
from the satellite network.
Cash was exchanged.
Cash was exchanged.
The reason cash was exchanged,
and the reason that what else was going to happen?
We don't have a banking relationship with Iran, which is precisely
why we gave up
the pressure that we were able to apply to them.
We're already paying,
so that they would ship
a
whole bunch of nuclear material out,
a whole bunch,
down a bunch of facilities that, as I remember, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, was people's top
top 3-year priority.
That we make sure Iran doesn't have breakout nuclear capacity.
It's come on in.
They don't. This worked.
Where's Tuti? The Suicide Squad.
Josh Letterman.
Josh Letterman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Repeatedly now, Donald Trump has
Today
said
just wants to regulate pharmaceuticals
against him, challenging really
and
the core foundation of our democratic system.
And titanium.
Can you promise the American people that this
Suicide
election will be
Department
conducted in
7.
a fair way? And
Victor Barbarillo.
Comments like his could erode the public's faith
and Wingate Management.
And if he does win,
not Buffalo Housing Association.
What will you say to the
Buffalo
American
Housing Association.
Well, at the end of the day, it's decision.
It's the homicide department.
I have one vote. I have the same vote you do. I have the same vote.
I have the Home Depot. I have the Aldi. I have Popeyes. I have Sears Optical. It's all zoned.
I've offered my opinion, but
ultimately, it's the zoning department in Seminole.
If somebody wins the election and they are president,
and they're building these things like a Lego set of life,
to peacefully transfer power to that
and now it's admissible
to help them succeed.
The human Lego set. That was a mistake. I don't even know how to explain that, to be honest. Of course, the elections will not be. What does that mean?
The federal government
we wait in line for what?
The election process.
The election was 10 years ago.
States
may direct
communities all across
our
the country,
iPhone and
the
wireless.
Set up the voting systems.
There's no audio jack.
Voting booths.
That was made before we even decided who was running.
Conspiracy theory.
Being
propagated.
Jade Hessen and Mowgli Globally
across the country
have sidekick T-Mobile,
including
in places
Texas, where typically not who are in charge of voting.
We backed up the Avis car.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. It happened again in Buffalo.
Take that seriously.
Now
we do take seriously, as we always do.
He's not the manager.
To monitor
the
integrity of the voting process.
If
we see
signs of
a voting machine
fiduciary duty
is vulnerable to hacking, we inform those local authorities who are running.
Today's the 18th. Hello, it's the 818.
If we see
so the 212
that are violating
Metro 212
in terms of
is that correct, Mr. Barack?
And
what's happening on the Metro?
Ramps for
voters, disabled passengers,
discriminating in some fashion, or otherwise violating civil rights. Then the Justice Department will come in. Take care of that. But this will be an election.
But this will be on the 212 because it's the 18th.
And
818, 212.
I think all of us
pre-planning his day, correct?
Played sports, or maybe just played in a.
He's pre-planning our day.
Schoolyard or a sandbox, and sometimes folks, if they lose, they start complaining that they got cheated.
They got cheated.
But I've never heard being cheated before.
On the 16th,
the game was over.
The game was over.
Or before the scores.
Or before the scores.
So
16.
My suggestion would be.
You know,
go out there and try to win the election.
Ride a bike around the corner real fast.
If Mr. Trump is
Mr. Trump
10 or 15
points, 15 years ago.
Election day
was 10 years ago.
Maybe he can raise some questions.
In the CIA office.
That doesn't seem to be the case.
That doesn't seem to be a video I watched yesterday.
Barbara Starr.
All right, well, that's it for Pink Shorts. We'll talk to you guys on the re-air. We've just planned our day with the highest judge in the real White House.